Welcome to the Hope College Athletics Orange and Blue podcast. This is Alan Babbitt, Sports Information Director at Hope College. Looking forward each week to bring you interviews with Hope College coaches, athletic staff, student athletes as we talk about life in the orange and blue. And our special guest today is head women's golf coach Greg Stafford. Coach Stafford has been leading the Flying Dutch since 2009, and prior to that, spent 2 years as a volunteer assistant with women's golf. So we'll look forward to hearing from him about what the Flying Dutch have been working on this fall. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you very much for having me, Alan. I appreciate it.
Obviously been an unusual season, to say the least, with everything going on with the pandemic and no competition, but the opportunity to practice. I had the chance to come out and see you guys at one of your practices out at the Ravines Golf Club down in Saugatuck, and watching the ladies work on their game and get prepared and sharp for hopefully a successful spring season. What is the coaching this fall been like for you?
Well, I like to tell the ladies all the time we're making the best out of a very difficult situation. And I really think the girls did this year. It was a difficult situation, and I thought we came through about as good as can be expected. We had a very good, fun fall year, and I think it got us ready for the spring, where we're hopefully ready to compete.
Now, you had a roster of 14. How did you set up practice? What did you kind of do to help them be able to work on their games, play golf as well? I mean, there's nothing like just getting on the course and playing that makes you better. How did you try to juggle all the logistics with that?
Well, we tried to keep every Saturday but one we competed, played 18 holes. Tuesday, Thursday, beginning of the year, we would play 9 holes each Tuesday, Thursday, and then we would practice Monday and Friday and work on individual stuff. But later in the year, we switched our Thursdays to where we were just playing scrambles with the team for kind of a lightened and enjoyment, and the girls really enjoyed that.
What obviously a lot of emotions going on. I mean, there's just obviously it's an unsettling time due to the pandemic, and it's tough for you got upperclassmen, and this is not what they signed up for when they thought and dreamed about their college careers. Just talk about how you guys have tried to help each other out through this, because it's not easy and not it's just frustrating for everyone, and just kind of wondering how you guys kind of tried to tackle that.
I think I call it we were therapeutic for both. Obviously in our country right now, this is a very trying time, and I really needed something to do, and the girls needed something to do, and it was just a blessing for all parties involved that we had something to look forward to 5 days a week. We went out and worked hard and tried to put everything else behind and just say that our time on the golf course was precious and let's enjoy it. And for us, it seemed to work.
What did you see in as far as improvement from the team throughout the fall that you would point to? They made really good strides in.
Well, I got to say right from the beginning that 2 big surprises, very pleasant, were sophomores. Rita Cheney and Grace Van Dullen both improved a lot, which will help the team. And then senior Abby Meter, who has usually played 2 or 3 her whole career, qualified number 1 this fall. She's improved and just had a great fall. So, we're really looking forward to the spring, honestly.
With playing, obviously golf is a matter of repetition and doing the same thing over and over again in the right form. With that, was there some time at the range in addition to playing, or how do you work on that part and organize that for everyone to get some, probably some practice and those fundamentals honed and sharpened?
And when we're not competing, our basic practice is simple. Every day we have to chip and putt and hit in the range, okay? And my goal is every day you should chip or pitch as much as you hit in the range and putt probably twice as much as that. So we spend those off days, we're just working on those three things all the time. Obviously, with the chipping is we get them in the sand and work them out of sand traps too. So there's a lot of, golf is a team, individual sport, and, they're very good at practice. They know what they need to work on. They know what they got to do at practice. They get right at it, and we just alternate through the 3 stations.
With your team, obviously it was a really young team last year, but a good core of them came through. Did having that experience kind of help, that they kind of knew what needed to be done, and anyone that was new and coming aboard kind of could see by them, what to focus on and how you guys were approaching, this fall season?
I am blessed to have as captains Abby Meter and Jordan Rio. They're both seniors, obviously, but they've been around for 3 years. They really pride themselves in their role, and they do a tremendous job with the rest of the team. They really are the ones who get everybody ready and make us ready to play. They do just an outstanding job. It's they're going to be around this year still, but I'm already missing them for next year.
How did you guys wrap up the fall? I think it was 2 weeks ago. I saw some photos. You guys kind of was there a fun way you kind of just ended the fall?
Yes, we have what we call it our Ryder Cup Day. We had everybody play, and we played in teams of 2. We played 3 different types of format during the 18-hole. So 1 through 6, we played alternate shot. Then we played 6 holes of best ball, and we played 6 holes of scramble. And it's just a fun way to end the season after the Thursdays playing scramble. The girls like that competitive part, and it's really fun, and it was it was a very competitive tournament, and nobody won. The top 2 teams tied with 76s.
Oh, excellent. That's some great golf in there, probably much better than if I was out on the course with you guys. So that's that's not saying much, though, but I know having seen Abby and Jordan and a few others compete last season, I'm really looking forward to seeing them the spring. And that obviously the goal, fingers crossed, March 27th will be the first MIAA Jamboree. Before we get to kind of how the spring sets up and, what we hope to happen, obviously some time now between now and March 27th. What will the golfers do now? Obviously going into, Michigan winter, won't be able to get in an 18 round for much longer. What do you guys talk about, and what can they do to kind of be as sharp as they can be and work on their games during the winter?
Well, I've got to be not careful now, but I can't be around much now because we used to have 19 weeks. Now it's days. We have X amount of days. I believe it's 114 days we can use. I could be wrong, but anyways, we have days we can use, so I can't really use up a lot of those days now until the spring. What the ladies will do all winter and now is the golf room is open. 2 can go in at a time for an hour and hit. So first of all, I encourage them to take a month off or so after the fall practice season, and then probably right before. Well, see, it's going to be different this year, Alan. Everything's different, but with they leave and don't come back from January. So certainly when they come back in January, they should start hitting. Okay. From there, we will probably, as it gets into February, so I'll take a couple of the top 6 or so to Maple Hill and Granville, and we can hit out of the stalls there in heated stalls, just so we're hitting live balls, and get a feel for what's going. Another thing that's very important is our trainer, Eric Bly, is Titleist certified, and he has each of the ladies on a program, and certainly second semester, I'll give them a little bit of leeway now, but when second semester starts, I start making phone calls and texts and find out if they're going to see Eric for doing their workouts. And, I like the good kids, I don't have to check on. They're doing it 2 or 3 times a week. But, I want everybody to do it at least once a week. And it's very beneficial for us. It's golf specific, so it works wonders for us. It's going to be different this year by not being able to go south, where I feel that's where we get ready to play a match. So everybody's going to be in the same boat. But that first match, I'm going to be like I'm going to be a coach with like a cat with a long tail in a room full of rocking chairs, because it's just, we don't, you're not going to know what to expect because of, you haven't been out on the course. And if you look at that date, there's a very good chance that will be one of the first, or if not the first time we were outside all year. You know what I mean? So beginning of the year, it's going to be a curve. We're not going to go out and shoot our low scores, obviously, in very, early in the spring.
With the format, I think each school gets a chance to host. I think I'm looking here at the schedule, 8 different rounds. Does that give a little bit of time for, I mean, obviously it's still only 8, so there's not a lot of competition, but does that give a little time to kind of get your feet under you and, hopefully shoot your best here as you guys go through that jamboree schedule?
I guess so. My only thing is the way I look at it as a coach, even as I coached anything, not just golf, but I'm concerned about us, not about the other people. And we're on it's an equal playing field. It's completely level. All teams are doing it the same. That's all I can ask for. So we have as good a shot as anybody. And, that's what we're looking at. I think we did it really right as far as the 8 matches, because they're so compact and compressed there that if one gets rain or snowed out, it's just thrown away. We don't make it up. So right now the girls are only missing 2 days of school, which is wonderful. The schedule is great. Is it going to be like a normal spring? No, but is it going to be a whole lot better than playing ourselves? Absolutely, and we're looking forward to it.
You've been the head coach since 2009 here for the Flying Dutch, and started as a.
That seems like a long time, Alan. I didn't realize that.
Well, then add on 2007, you started as a volunteer assistant. Take me through how did you become an assistant coach at Hope College Women's Golf? Do you remember how that came about?
Oh, sure. I knew Eva a bit before. And then one of my girls from Godwin actually came and played at Hope. And so I would go to all the matches. And Eva knew I was about ready to retire from Godwin. And she said, hey, look, I can't give you any money, but I'd love to have you come out and help if you'd like to. And I guess she knew an easy mark when she saw one. And I said, well, yes, I'd love to. And so that's how it started. And I really enjoyed it. And I never really thought of being the head coach, honestly, Alan. I just thought, well, Eva's going to do this forever, and this is a blast. I love this. And then she became the athletic director, and she couldn't coach. And it was just like, would you like to move into this spot? And, I wanted to stay coaching. So I said, well, yes, of course I will. But, I had really not, gosh, that's longer. That's, it was just kind of like a couple years thing. I was just retired and wanted to do something, but I'm having so much fun. I haven't given it up yet, I guess. So that's where I'm at.
What is it about it that you enjoy so much?
Oh, man. I love athletics. I've been around athletics all my life, but to be able to work with the Hope students is just extra special. I know everybody talks about, and we have been very successful on the course, and it's wonderful. But I really do look at, we're even more successful in the classroom, and that for me is the best part of it. And just to be able to work with such student athletes and scholars, and it's just a wonderful opportunity for me, and I really enjoy it. And I mean, I every year we have a ton of girls who are academic All-American. It's awesome.
This, I would imagine, obviously the big thing with being a college coach is recruiting and trying to find talent. And obviously you've done a good job of finding that. How important is it to have that balance where you have the academic excellence in addition to a competitive golf program, is finding those kids and keeping, that kind of pipeline going? Because recruiting isn't easy. Anybody, it doesn't matter the sport, finding the right kid is can be, is part of the challenge.
Very, very true. At Hope, I'm looking for a special kid. I'm not hiding that from anybody. Everybody I talk to, I say, look, it takes a real special person to, be a D3 college, not just at Hope, but anywhere. This is, you have to love golf, and you've got to give things up. And, we have to have a special people to do this. People who love the game and want to be part of a team. If, you're an individual golfer and all you care about you, I tell her this is not for you, because we really work it as a team sport, and it works for us. And, part of the team sport is with us, the academics just come hand in hand, and that fits in wonderful at Hope College. We're a high achieving college, and we get a lot of excellent golfers here who are 4-point students.
Obviously, coaching has been part of your life. Your career at Godwin Heights as a teacher, and then starting the golf program there. What is it about the game of golf? Where did that start from you, as far as you starting to play, and then that lifelong, passion for you has continued to grow?
Long story, Alan. No, not really. I'm really not a golf coach. I was the assistant varsity football coach for about 1 million years and the baseball coach for even longer at Godwin Heights. And I loved doing them. And my father got sick. He had pancreatic cancer, and he was living with one of my brothers in Flint. And so I stopped coaching because I wanted to be with him. Well, when I came back, obviously other people had taken those jobs. So we had never had a women's golf team. And I just started messing around, having girls that weren't involved in other sports in the hallways, hitting after school, hitting wiffle balls. And it went from there. And we were lucky enough to have a very good program, and it was great. I think I did it for about the last 7 years there. And then from there, I switched right over. I started helping Eva. But yeah, actually, I coached football and baseball forever. And actually, early in my career, I was even coached basketball for 2 or 3 years too. So I realized, though, that was sports around the clock. I was coaching 3 sports a year, and I wasn't seeing my wife, Joan, very much.
What is it about coaching that you just obviously have an affinity for?
I just like working with kids. And if it wasn't coaching, I'm sure I would be doing something else with kids. But I like to tell people that I'm one of the luckiest people in the world, that I actually did my whole life something that I was happy doing, and I thought I was put on earth to do. And I feel I was brought here to coach. That may sound silly, but I just have loved coaching all along, and I just, it's just been a blessing.
Was there a role model or something that you had as far as it maybe emulated that coach? Anyone made kind of an impact on you when you were growing up and playing and doing that? Or how did you find kind of that you knew, hey, you know what, this was my calling?
I can't. It was, I guess early in my career at Godwin, a legend basketball coach, Gene Nineheist, he was a lot. But, I picked up a lot from a lot of people. And, like a lot of coaches, very honestly, Alan, I learned from almost a reverse barometer, where I would watch them perform and go, no, that's not me. I can't coach that way. And, but I learned from everybody. There wasn't really, I would say baseball, probably Sparky Anderson. Yeah. He was just, everybody loved the Spark, and, he was just such of a good with the guys, stuff like that. But it was more of just kind of a hodgepodge of my personality, and I think we all, early in our careers, I think we all stumble a little bit too, and we have to find out who we are. And I'm not a yeller and a screamer. I'm, more of a, let's talk about this. And, especially with golf, it doesn't help to be that way anyway. So for me, the personality just kind of worked very good, into it.
You think, is it a matter, and I've heard this a lot from not only coaches I've talked to at Hope, but obviously my career when I was a journalist, it's just a matter of kids can see authenticity, and they know when you're being you and who you are, and, kind of figuring out that's kind of key to being able to connect with them, that they kind of feel you're being authentic with them, whether or not they're critiquing you and want to get better or just encouraging you. I imagine that's probably kind of critical for a coach.
I've always believed that from a very young age, that kids have excellent radar and they can tell fake right away. I don't know what it is, but they can. And, if you want to do this line of work, you have to be authentic, and you can't be fake, or you're not going to last long. At least that's my opinion.
Do you, now you obviously watch a lot of golf. Do you get a chance to play much?
I'm playing more than ever now. My wife was ill for a very long time, and I just kind of stopped playing because it was not that I'm great, but it was just so frustrating to go out and be so horrible. So until she passed, I didn't play much, and then I had some back issues. But I think I finally turned the corner. So I'm playing a lot right now, and I'm actually thinking for my age, I'm not too bad.
Hey, that's a good place to be. And I had a chance to know and get to know your wife Joan before, and she still has was just a wonderful kind of spirit. Obviously, I mean, probably any coach, if you need a supportive spouse to put up with all the nights and weekends and stuff. I don't put you on the spot, but just kind of thinking about her and kind of what she's meant to you I imagine she's still kind of close to you as you coach each of the seasons.
Well, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her because we both grew up in Grand Rapids and she taught fifth grade at Godwin Heights. I was in the high school, and that's where we met. And we never would have come back here, but she went to Hope. She's a Hopi. And so we got a place here on Lake Mac years ago, and we would come back weekends. And that's kind of how I got into Hope athletics and everything. And, we were both athletic and have been involved in athletics all along. As far as, everybody says it, but it's absolutely true. She was the best coach's wife in the world. And it helped, I think, because she was a teacher too. So she wasn't getting home at 3. She was getting home at 5, 6 o'clock also. I was getting home, probably a little bit later. But, there's a lot of give and take if you're coaching 2, 3 sports and trying to do it right in high school or anywhere. And you don't see your spouse a lot. And there just has to be an understanding. And, it was we just had a great relationship. And she was my rock or my pillar forever, very honestly. It was just a wonderful relationship, yeah.
No, it was good to know her. Tough, obviously, when she passed, but we're grateful for her and grateful that she helped bring you to Hope. And it's been a lot of fun watching your teams. And like I said, we're hoping for the best this spring and to see the Flying Dutch on the golf course and compete with the best in the MIAA. So thanks for joining us on the Orange and Blue podcast, Greg. Enjoy the break, and we'll see you very soon in March, hopefully competing.
I want to thank you again for having me, Alan. I appreciate it. And anytime, I'll bend your ear anytime you let me. Thank you very much.
That sounds great. Thanks, Greg.